what should be prioritized as soon as you get a diagnosis?
Depends on what the child has challenges with. If a child has challenges with speech and communication, prioritize speech therapy and communication based therapies. If the child has challenges with movement or
Right.
fine motor issues or issues with performing his daily living tasks like using his hands to eat, hold a crayon, to color, that is when you would definitely prioritize an occupational therapy intervention.
From places where there are no occupational therapists, how important are home programs then?
The parents and caregivers of the children are the ones who know them best. Situations where there aren't trained therapists, I would encourage our parents to find people who have expertise in the space, take home programs from them, the skills that the therapist is using with the child. Unless those skills transfer to a parent, we're really not going to see the best outcomes for the child.
How do you find occupational therapist?
The All India OT Association has a website which lists practicing occupational therapists in different parts of the country. Therapy centers nowadays have websites where they talk about the different kind of services. A third and very important source is usually a parent group in the city or town that you're living in.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to The Seat at the Table, a very special podcast series that talks about the world of invisible disabilities, of neurodiversity, inclusion, awareness, acceptance, and also hopes for a world where people understand people who are a little different from them. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Ashwani Veshampayan. She is pediatric occupational therapist and head healthcare services at Jai Vakil Foundation. And I'm very happy to have you here because there were so
Thank
many
you.
questions I, as a parent, also have because I have a son who is 15. And, now occupational therapy looks very different when we talk about a teenager like him. But let me start by asking you the question that comes to me and to others also very often, which is what should be prioritized as soon as you get a diagnosis? Should it be occupational therapy? Should it be speech therapy? And why occupational therapy? That looks कि अरे ये तो बहुत सिंपल है देखने में, लेकिन उसके पीछे की साइंस क्या है?
So, what needs to be prioritized depends on what the child has challenges with.
Hmm.
If a child has challenges with speech and communication, then one would prioritize speech therapy and communication based therapies.
Got it.
If the child has challenges with movement or
Hmm.
mobility or
Right.
fine motor issues or issues with performing his daily living tasks like eating by himself, using his hands to eat, to hold a crayon, to color, that is when you would definitely prioritize an occupational therapy intervention.
Got it.
Very often, early intervention services combine the therapies or services of speech and language pathology, occupational therapy, and special education together,
All right.
which then, in a combined way, addresses the challenges that the children face best.
Wonderful. But a lot of times we see that this holistic intervention is very limited to very good experts and very good centers. A lot of times, occupational therapy in itself is not available to a lot of people. How important are home programs then? And how can our viewers who are perhaps listening to us or watching us from places where there are no occupational therapists or no renowned occupational therapists available, how can they help their children?
So, something a critical part of the child's growing up years, or for life for that matter, but definitely in the early years, are the parents of the child.
Right.
The parents and caregivers of the children are the ones who know them
Absolutely.
best. They are 24/7 with the child and know them best. Even in a situation where occupational therapists are working direct, providing
Right.
direct intervention, it is imperative that you keep parents and caregivers in the loop and include them as a part of therapy services. I will extend this thought to situations where there aren't trained therapists. I would encourage our parents to get in touch with, even if it looks like a remote conversation. Find people who have expertise in the space. In this day and age, there are a lot of telehealth opportunities, practice
True.
opportunities
Yeah.
that are people are practicing, and you have a lot of good therapists who are practicing with clients all over India. So reach out to some of the good therapists out there, whether it is on a monthly basis or a 3 monthly basis or even a
Right.
6 monthly basis. Take home programs from them. Where the therapists are concerned, I would definitely encourage and say that for optimal results for the children,
Hmm.
optimal outcomes for the children, it is imperative that we keep parents in the loop about what is going on and engage them in services. Unless we
Noted.
transfer our skills, the skills that the therapist is using with the child, unless those skills transfer to a parent, we're really not going to see the best outcomes for the child.
Dr. Ashwini, occupational therapy starts as early as infancy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But it has to evolve as the child grows up, and it is known to be very functional and advantageous even at later teens as well. But what does occupational therapy then look like? Because I'm sure it looks very different from what you practice with a young child to that when you're working with a teenager. So, what is that shift or change that happens?
So, occupational therapy is essentially based on what a child's abilities are.
Right.
Yes, because we are a profession that is focused on rehabilitation, we do look at what the child is struggling with and what challenges they experience.
Hmm.
In the early years, a lot of work is done towards restoring abilities or building on foundational skills that the child needs in terms of attention, in terms of fine motor skills, in
Right.
terms of gross motor skills,
Sitting tolerance,
sitting
etc.
tolerance, attending to a task,
Yeah.
problem solving, movement based, and activities of daily living kind of tasks that are needed. We work on foundational skills for all of these areas of work. So, occupational therapy typically works with play as well. Play not only as
Right.
a medium of intervention but also an area of intervention.
Got
So,
it.
we look at how the child's socialization abilities are, how they focus on developing friendships, how they're playing on the playground, how they're playing with their friends. So, it works a lot of that on the foundational years. As the child grows older, as like it works with you and me as well,
Right.
that our life tasks change. Just
Correct.
as a child's life task changes, so also will the occupational therapy plan and intervention change with the life tasks. What we also know is that in the older years, we focus a lot on adaptation. We
Got it.
focus a lot on modifying the environment to suit what the child, because the child has developed a lot of skills that they already could,
Right.
and sometimes there might be a little bit of a plateau that is reached. So you definitely work on environmental modifications to help the child achieve functional independence. That is at the end of the day what we're all focusing on, and that is getting the child to work to their maximum ability.
A lot of times, occupational therapy looks seemingly very easy to the eye when, as a parent or as an onlooker, you are watching a therapist work with it. But there is obviously science behind it, and and home programs also work if you have found a good occupational therapist who can give you that know-how. The problem always remains, how do you find an occupational therapist? What are the things that you should look for in one? And there are, of course, certifications, etc., that people get in order to practice occupational therapy. What are the questions, therefore, a parent should be asking before going to an occupational therapist?
So I think one of the first things is how well your therapist is communicating with you.
Hmm.
So my first thing would be to identify. To go back to one of your very basic questions, was that the All India OT Association
Hmm.
has a website which lists practicing occupational therapists in different part of the country,
Oh, that's a
along
good.
with their different
Hmm.
specialities.
Got
So
it.
that is one way to look at things.
Right.
The other thing is, I know a lot of therapy centers nowadays have websites where they talk about the different kind of services. A third and very important source is usually a parent group in the city or town that you're living in. We
Hmm.
know that word by mouth still is a sound way in which people get to know about services
Yeah.
and accessibility to services. So that is one way of how you can identify therapists. The second thing to do definitely is look at how well your therapist communicates with you.
Yeah.
A therapist who uses a strengths based approach, a therapist who has an open mind, listens to you with genuine curiosity, ensures your participation not just in terms of
Hmm.
talking to you, but partnering with you in developing the child's
Wonderful.
goals, in terms of developing the child's intervention, and of course, implementing intervention as well. So, as long as all of you look for all of, I would look for all of those qualities in
Right.
any service provider. Occupational therapy is no exception to that service provider. I want someone who will partner with me. It is a long journey. Rehabilitation, working with children with developmental disabilities responsibilities is a long journey, and you want someone who will be a partner with you on
Right.
that journey. You don't want someone who's going to be a stopgap arrangement at any
Mm.
point in time.
Yeah.
So look for someone who talks with you rather
Right.
than to you.
Mm.
And I think there is, as a parent, you have every right to ask for credentials. You have every right to ask for whether they are trained in particular kind of therapies,
Right.
to ask for the logic and the rationale behind what is being done with your child. And a good therapist should be open about and should be willing to share that kind of information.
Dr. Ashwini, thank you for that very candid answer and also for the time that you have given us today. Thank you for being at the seat at the table.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.